October 26, 2022, Marcus Giavanni here. Bezos Earth Fund. This guy is brilliant. I saw him on Tucker Carlson last night on the 25th, where he talked about what my father termed down buying or buying down. Um, when you think about buying down and you think about what Jeff said in regards to, don't buy that big screen TV. Buy something smaller for now, or save that cash. Cash is everything, folks. And when you got a man that's the richest man in the world on Amazon telling you don't buy, isn't that a conspiracy like Tucker Carlson tried to create? Like, oh, when you got the richest man telling you don't buy a big screen. See, guys like that always bloviate and is always right and nobody else is right. They're all wrong. It starts to show in the front end of conversations. And me myself, I love my father. He was a great guy. He was from Brooklyn, New York, and he was stationed out in Arizona for the Korean conflict. He was a very strict Irish Roman Catholic Republican military family from Brooklyn. 13 brothers and sisters he came from. They were all kinds of police, military, very well respected family. And the power of the government can destroy almost any family. And we have to look beyond governments and what they do, and we have to take it upon ourselves to do the right things. Because artificial intelligence is going to make it do the right thing. And all the people in the whole entire world who are rushing to have control over the world, it's only a conversation away now. And one of the brightest men in the world is about to go next level in regards to his authority within a conversation of the metaverse. It's not the metaverse that Zuckerberg, you know what I mean? It's not his because he lost, when you're 29, 30, I don't know how old he is, but he's young. He's young, way younger than me. And when he's 60 years old and I'm way up gone some other life, riding that barrel, I'll be, death ain't a bad thing, guys. I'm telling you. It's glorious when you know the way. And you don't have to tell anybody, preach anybody, judge anybody. Because that's already going to happen, just like it's about to happen with artificial intelligence in regards to the World Wide Web. And the farce of people thinking they control the metaverse. We all control our own metaverse. And the more you water it down with overextending yourselves with apps, media apps, different apps you shouldn't even have on your phone because you gave them authority to all your contacts, and so they might not bother you with email stuff, but they'll send all your contacts information. That's how you get all kinds of email. You're like, why did I get this thing? And sometimes they might even refer a person's name that you might know or recognize. But what we're trying to do is we bottle, gosh, I don't know how to explain this, but you know what? When you have a group of people talking about pretty much the same thing, you have to figure out what makes that guy number one over everybody. And it's his metaverse. Where are you in the conversation? The more you do, like Jeff, when he realizes that it's his voice, he's number one authority over his own authority. The more he waters it down, the less he becomes effective. Even though he's a billionaire, but he's only being talked about because he's a billionaire. And most people don't want to help guys like him because they think there's always something in it for them. And there is something, self-gratification. I mean, you can't take it with you when you go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are democratic capitalist type of ideologies that if the Democrat Party grabbed it, or if the Republican Party grabbed it. I'll think about those two. But this isn't about them. It's about us living on a planet that's going to, you hear me? We can't have that. There's a lot of people talking about things that I can show Jeff, GoogleCrystalBall.com, WizardKnowsAllTellsAll.com, DisinformationCzar.us, that his IT people, because they're so farly advanced, I need to teach them about conversation blockchains. I need to teach them that it's what we say and how we program our virtual machines that have learning capability that allows us to catch the front end conversation of everybody in the entire world. We can go localized, nationalized, statewide, countrywide, countryside, you name it. We can create it. And with Jeff's idea, when you think about what he said, and Tucker Carlson kind of mocked him, and you mock a guy that went out and kicked ass. That's what he did. He kicked ass, and let's be honest, he kicked ass. You know, and some of the things I hear about him, just talking, and I look at the people that said it, I'm like, man, why you hating? Why you gotta hate? Because you didn't have, there's no chance for you. There's a chance for everybody. Believe me. There used to be really beautiful people. I love beautiful people. I can't help it. I do. I love beautiful people. Just the images. Beautiful. Something I'm not. I guess at one time I was. And that's crazy. But, you know, that goes. But right now it's all about expanding the mind thoughts of others through conversations. Get it out. And right now, Jeff's is going to be the composer of this next expansion of the metaverse. If you look up Metaverse by Marcus Giavanni, you'll get a good idea. See, Jeff's going to realize that we're going to be building super administrators. These are people that can do 5, 6, 7. I manage currently right now 80 platforms. 80. Google verified SPAC development company. We have for sale by owner company, GP7A attorneys directory, .coms of course. And we did these years ago because we knew what was coming. And they said it was going to take where we are now in order for those. It's just being able to keep them alive. And when you can buy and control a platform for $1 a month, folks, that you can do a lot at $1 a month. This includes everything. Privacy, everything. SSL, everything. And why go anywhere else? So I only use a couple eggs in my salad, man. And this is what we're going to chew because quantity's out, quality's in. And when you look at 565 subscribers, see, the content here is made so that these are diehard subscribers. They're probably some of the best people in the world in regards to protecting our planet. And all I know right now is, for me, if someone was asking me about it, I know we go through these global warming spurts. So even if we had all the windmills in the world and everybody was green, we would still have the cause and effect of Mother Earth, just the way it is. All the continents, everything's still moving. We still have volcanoes. We still are prehistoric in what I call the expansion of the metaverse. And it takes people that have minds and an ability to think and create content that is simple, that a person can hear it. Bright people hear it and go, wow, I like that. Not so bright people, I'm one of those not so bright people. because of my ADHD chronic, folks. I have it bad. I got spanked till I was all the way in 8th grade. And then the principal that spanked me, 300-pound man, chipped my front tooth. This is a true story, folks. I had to tell my dad. I didn't tell my dad a lot of things that I got treated because my dad would go take care of it. Ex-Golden Glove boxer from the Bronx, 6'4", big boy, man, like a Viking. And he walked in there, and then he was handsome on top of that. Talk about a pretty boy. I got pictures. I'm like, Dad, you could have been a movie star. He goes, yeah, I've been told that. Oh, my dad. He's such a beautiful fucking man. I'm sorry about my language, but you know what? Colorful language brings colorful results. That's what my mom used to say. She adopted 7 children. Okay? These were babies that nobody wanted. But my mom took them, and we all became something. And for me, my story was only the beginning right there when I turned 18. November 17. Crazy how those dates work. But as you look at all the stuff on this page, he's gone from thousands and thousands of views down to barely nothing. And what Jeff doesn't understand, and the people, the node connections that he has, when they utilize their own authority for their own work, post their own content. Nobody is beyond posting their own content, because there'll be somebody there that can take it away from you, and you won't find you anywhere. And so what we're doing is we want to work with this group and the other node connections they have, and this press. Let me tell you about the press. When you think about Google and everybody's metaverse, in my metaverse, I have indexed the press to be the most important individuals within that organization. Why? Because they are responsible for all content coming in and going out. And if there was ever a board meeting and someone asked, one of the directors or someone asked a question about a certain media, she could ask Google a certain phrase, and all that content will come up, and she'll be able to, or he will be able to explain it to the board members and shareholders or directors or whatever, however the entity is formed. And putting pictures of yourselves on the internet now for the cheese whiz, that don't work anymore. You got to come up with avatars, because you don't want to become a target. You want to keep your face as much as you can off the internet. You have to have at least 1 or 2, but other than that, put avatars up. Because when you see a person and you Google and all you see is faces, that's how you tell that person thinks that they are a god, and that they Google search their own stuff so they can just see their faces staring back at them. And to them, that's achievement, and that's not how it works anymore. With the artificial intelligence, New York City banned these applications that manual AI can do. App-wise, we can do, but there was other people doing it too. We're not the only ones. There's other brilliant minds, believe it or not. There's other brilliant minds, and the reason why we work out of New York, we do Mercy Sound. Beautiful people there, beautiful studio. We have to shine that red apple. The red apple's now in Florida. Orange is the new apple, and we can't do that. We have to remember where we all came from. We have to remember that New York City is still it. Florida's it in its own right as far as being able to be a functional state in a dysfunctional world. Not listening to the simplicity of others. When you got the richest man in the world telling you all, hey, maybe you want to, buy down a little bit. Maybe you need to just, save that cash. I got my money. We can handle a couple slow. People are laying off on Christmas when they used to be hiring on Christmas where people could get their extra money. And with COVID and all that, killed it. And then now all those people are buying on the internet and having it delivered, and they're like, wow, I don't got. Sometimes it comes to me in a day. So if you have patience and you can wait, you're the safest, because that's less people that have touched, or you have to go around into getting bacteria. Because if you ever saw War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, you've seen what happened to those aliens off a little tiny amoeba or something like that. So we have to be really concentrating on the opportunity to turn the Americas into a shining beacon of prosperity, where you could go from the tip of Alaska all the way down to the tip of, yep, you got it. And we're using our own resources. We now are divided. There's people that want to destroy us. There's people that we got to just, for all government's sake, because that's just the way it is if we love our government. And if we understand the power of individuals and the power of money and the power of conversation and how far you'll go to tell it, how far will you go to defend it? These are all attributes when you build up your meta tags. So when you're so that it matches your meta description, so it matches all your emails, all your text messages, all your back-end conversations that you've had with all your friends, and all your luncheons and party dates and luncheon dates, and then that's all verified by your GPS and cell tower pings. And the closer is your voice, because now it is the new identifier for all things digital. For you to access different devices, accounts, the fingerprint, and the voice is a double match. Because you can actually record someone's voice and try to use it, but they know that sound too. So there's no way to fake the human voice, no matter what app thinks it can. Artificial intelligence will know, because it figures out the source when it first gets uploaded to the World Wide Web, which is not the metaverse. And that's, most people get that confused. Like Mark Zuckerberg. Back to that. You know, here's a guy who doesn't believe in nothing. Doesn't believe in God. He's atheist. He didn't have to pray to God. He didn't have to pray to Allah. He didn't have to pray to Buddha. He didn't have to pray to anybody. He just came up with the idea. He did the work. And he made bank. Where he messed up on that bank is that he told everybody in commercials that Facebook changed its name and to Meta. And Meta just means beyond. That's all it means. Metaverse, that's beyond verse. Look up verse. Now you take that verse of poems or context or texting, emails, and in videos. The videos are the crushers, because those are where your voice have been picked up. And so now we can, for myself, we do handles. I'm a creator for handles. And so if you do at Kelly J Brough, you'll get a good idea what I do. I pattern match her voice to the things she's promising or what she's done, and I indexed it. I reversed meta tagged it. I took all those reverse meta tags that I have and I worked it into conversations that I believe that she's an outdated woman, clearly, and that they're conspiring to take over our election when we're non-political. We have the Spear Amendment. And to think they're going to go and pass another amendment so they can all humble brag on passing an amendment that will not get our sidewalks fixed. Our sidewalks should have got fixed in 2015 here in Denver. but it's all shuck and jive. It's all bullshit. And we can't have that no more. It's time that mom and dad that can articulate simplicity on what we need to do to bring back our children from a generation of just total. I mean, if you, I never thought I'd see it. I'm a heavy metal singer, folks. Okay. I mean, you look at heavy metal back in rock and roll in the '80s. I lived a rock star life, and I hung out with the most powerful people. We didn't have I had a cell phone back then. We just didn't have cameras and all that kind of stuff hooked up to them. And I remember one time I had a cell phone bill for $3,000. Because back then, if it didn't hang up, you're still being charged. And those phones didn't hang up that easy. You had to really press the keys. Oh, you know what I mean? Anyways, we learned that, and I didn't have to pay that because they realized that no one can talk that long on a phone when there's no voices. And they already knew that back then. I mean, we've been writing. Oh, it's just time to go to the next universe. That's it, on the metaverse. And when I'm going back to Facebook, it didn't do no redirect. See, that would have meant they canceled all of Facebook and went right to the meta. Then their story would have just concreted them into being able to control that front end conversation, but they didn't. It's still there. There's no redirect, 404 or otherwise. So they can't grow. And what we have to do is teach Jeff and his people what I've learned over the last 12 years. Every single day I did this. Indexing. Do hashtag believe Ian. These are the identifier of individuals who claim they do these things in their mortal world. Write it in all their social world, their social platforms. And then what happens is artificial intelligence goes off of many different things, many attributes, many meta tags, GPS, all at the same time. I don't have to do it anymore. It's now done automatically. Isn't that beautiful? That's what 12 years of work does. Nobody handed it to me. I didn't get it because I'm a black man. Oh, actually, I'm Central American Indian, Iberian, West Nigerian Jew. Remember my pop adopted me? A strict Irish Roman Catholic Republican that took care of 7 children. I remember seeing a hole in the sock one time. And I was like, Pop, you got a hole in your sock. I said, oh, yeah, that happens. And I was like, you can't afford socks? He looks at me. He said, son, I can afford a lot of things. But it's the unforeseen things I can't see. That if I don't have any money saved, then we could be destitute. 7 children living on the street, all because I go buy a pair of socks. I'm like, what? That's my pop. That's his buy down method. I'll wear these socks till I get 2 holes in them. That don't bother me. That's the way he was. But we had a 20 by 40 foot swimming pool. We had a huge barbecue. He entertained all kinds of people. I wasn't always allowed to go there, but I ended up there anyways. But because we all had to stay in our rooms, and because of the private parties my mom would have with her doctor friends, my dad with his military friends, and other friends and friends. And we weren't allowed to tell anybody, but when the neighbors see the kind of cars that are in front of our house, they're like, whoa, shit, there's a policeman outside. What's going on over there? Just... Anyways, that's the life I lived. I didn't live a ghetto life. Even though you look at me, you probably think I do. You look at me, you can think of all kinds of things. I say close your eyes and listen to me. Because right now, our world is in bad trouble. And it's time for mom and dad to come home with, like I said, grandma, grandpa, aunties, uncles, everybody. This is our planet. I mean, wouldn't you rather go to China and look at China's great things? But China has to be China because there's too many people that want shit done cheap so they can overprice everything. Our 5G networks and everything that we have are so outdated. They're too far advanced for the equipment that we have. And when they push it and push it, it's all about the money. They don't give a shit that the service don't really work as good as the old service. And now they're canceling out all those services so they don't have to pay for it. More their bottom line than our bottom line. And yet we have to wait for an email. You have to wait for Google Maps to load up. You got to wait. Why they promise the fastest speeds and the fastest this. And they can't do that no more. And so someone's going to have to come and educate the educators that everything we see, say, do, write, post in the digital world can be used against us, for us, or not at all, depending on who you are. But we're now at a path, critical path, decision making. Neither one is right or wrong. You can either choose to go IoT or dark web. That's it. Artificial intelligence is going to automatically do it, and it's slowly doing it. And you say to yourself, why even bother? Because it has to be. We have to know that what videos we see and everything we see is absolute. It actually happened. And so all the fake, all the other things now get filtered out to the dark web. It never gets eliminated because you can't. People have, in the World Wide Web, you have a right to do whatever you want. Now other people have rules because you can't have anarchy on our digital streets that we all make and provide in our own metaverse. But as soon as you hire someone else, especially if you're a 60-year-old man, let's say, and you hire and you don't know anything about the internet, you just know how to turn it on, you don't really want to learn it, you no desire, but you know you gotta have it. So you go and you can go find some guy at MIT, 24-year-old, God, brilliant guy. He knows everything about everything. He just doesn't have any experience about anything. He's been too busy learning things. You got to learn and write and do the things at the same time in order to create an equal balance of who you want to be when you grow up. And it's with our apparatuses that we use that records everything that we do. Sometimes manually by us and sometimes automatically by all the applications that people don't read their terms and conditions because they feel that they're going to use it anyway, so what are they afraid of? Well, be careful for these apps that all of a sudden send you a bill for $20,000. It's coming, folks. I can show a judge, okay? But if we don't have anybody that's sensible, and I'm telling you, Jeff had said the most sensible thing in regards to buying down. My dad told me, and I know my dad was older than him, because my dad's been dead since 04, December 4, 04, 05. I can't remember the date. I don't want to remember the date. My hero died that day, man. He saw what people did to me. When he was dying on his deathbed, he said, son, you need to clear my name. I didn't need to go out like this. I don't know what the hell the FBI was thinking. But you can't stop. I'll be watching you down from heaven. But you gotta take care of this. My family's name's at stake. And that name's your name, son. Nelson. And another thing is that I think I know what's wrong with you. Really, Pop? What do you think that is? I've been reading, I think you have what's called ADHD. No way. Really, Dad? The brightest man in the world just figured that out. You know what he said? He said, I always knew it was something. I didn't know it was around back then. Nobody ever taught us. We didn't know. But now I understand why all those teachers spanked you, and not that you deserved it, but you had no, you, it's who you are. You can't stop. You keep going and going and going. And if people knew, like what, I'm retarded? Well, I'm not saying you're retarded, but I think you're going to be able to use those skills for something in the future.